Sometimes, love doesn't disappear overnight. It fades, slowly, quietly, like a song that used to play in your heart, but now feels like a distant echo. You don't even realize when things started changing. One day, everything felt full. And then, without warning, it all started feeling empty. You still remember how he used to make you feel, like you mattered, like you were the center of his world. The way he looked at you, the way he listened when you spoke, the way he held your hand like he never wanted to let go. You were home to him. You were enough. But now, you're not even sure if he sees you anymore. There's a different kind of pain in loving someone who no longer tries. It's not like he says it out loud. It's not like he screams, "I don't love you." It's in the silence, in the delay of his replies, in the way he forgets your special days, in how he looks at his phone more than he looks at you. You feel it, in your bones, in your breath, in the pit of your chest, that something is missing, that he's pulling away, piece by piece. You tell yourself it's just a phase, that he's tired, stressed, distracted. You convince yourself to be patient, to hold on a little longer, to give him space. But deep down, your heart knows the truth. Love doesn't make you feel like a burden. Love doesn't make you question your worth every night before you fall asleep. Love doesn't stay silent when your soul is screaming for attention. The hardest part isn't when someone stops loving you. The hardest part is when they stop trying, but still stay. When they're there in the room, but not really with you. When their words feel hollow and their touch feels cold. When you go to bed next to them, but feel more alone than ever before. You start asking yourself questions you never thought you'd have to ask. Is it me? Did I change? Am I too much? You analyze every conversation, every look, every pause. You become a stranger to yourself, trying to be what he might love again. But here's what you need to remember. You deserve more. You deserve effort. You deserve presence. You deserve to be loved out loud. Not in silence, not in hesitation, not in convenience. If he's showing signs that he's no longer into you, don't close your eyes to them. Don't ignore your gut, because deep down, you already know. And sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is accept that love has changed, and that you deserve a kind of love that doesn't make you beg for the bare minimum. 1. He stops initiating conversations. He stops initiating conversations. At first, he used to text you good morning, check in during the day, and make sure to say good night, no matter how busy he was. But now, the silence speaks louder than words. You find yourself always being the one to message first, to ask how he's doing, or to start a conversation. The energy has shifted. You can feel it. It's not just about him being busy, it's about the lack of effort. When someone cares, they make time. They don't leave you hanging, waiting, or wondering. You start to notice how often you're typing out the first message, hoping for a response that feels warm or excited. But what you get is dry, one-word replies or long delays. The connection that once felt alive now feels one-sided. And deep down, you begin to realize that conversations aren't supposed to feel like a chase. You shouldn't have to beg for attention from someone who once couldn't go a day without talking to you. It stings, because you remember the version of him who was eager to talk, who lit up when you called, who couldn't wait to share his day with you. But now, that version feels like a memory. You're stuck wondering what changed. Was it something you did? Or is it just that his heart is no longer in it? Either way, the lack of communication slowly turns into emotional distance, and that silence becomes the loudest sign of all. 2. He takes hours or days to reply. He takes hours or even days to reply. You check your phone constantly, waiting for his name to pop up, hoping for a message, even something small. But nothing comes. Time passes slowly when you're waiting for someone who no longer seems eager to talk to you. You start making excuses for him in your mind. Maybe he's busy. Maybe he didn't see it. Maybe he'll reply later. But deep down, you know that if he really wanted to talk to you, he would have found a moment, even just a second, to say something. What used to be quick, excited replies have now turned into long gaps and cold answers. When he finally responds, it feels more like an obligation than a desire. There's no warmth in his words, no curiosity about how you're doing. And still, you try to hold on. Maybe tomorrow will be different. Maybe he's just going through something. But the pattern repeats. You feel the distance growing, not just in time, but in emotion. It hurts because you've seen how quickly he replies to others. You've seen him active online, posting, liking, laughing, just not with you. That silence becomes louder every time you check your phone and see nothing from him. And slowly, it chips away at your self-worth. Not getting a reply isn't just about being ignored. It's about feeling like you no longer matter. And that realization hits the hardest when you remember how it used to feel when you were his priority. 3. He cancels plans without guilt. He cancels plans without guilt. No apology, no explanation. Just a casual message saying he can't make it. At first, he was excited to see you, counting down days, making time no matter what. But now, it's like your time doesn't matter. Plans you looked forward to, moments you imagined together, are tossed aside like they were never important to begin with. And the worst part, he doesn't even seem sorry. You start noticing the pattern, the something came up texts, the last-minute excuses, the way he barely tries to reschedule. It's no longer about him being busy. It's about him not caring enough to show up. You try to stay calm, to understand, to be patient. But deep down you feel it. If someone truly wants to be with you, they won't keep cancelling the few chances you have to connect in person. And when you bring it up, he brushes it off like it's not a big deal. He doesn't see how much it hurts, how much effort you put into being there, looking forward to the moment, only to be left alone again. You feel foolish for getting ready, for getting excited, for believing he'd show up this time. Slowly, the cancellations turn into distance. And with each plan he breaks, without a second thought, it becomes clear you're not a priority anymore. You're just an option, and options can be pushed aside without guilt. 4. He avoids physical touch. He avoids physical touch. The little things that once felt so natural, holding hands, hugging you tightly, pulling you closer for no reason, have suddenly disappeared. You notice how he turns away when you reach for him, how he flinches slightly when you touch his arm, how he no longer initiates those gentle gestures that used to speak volumes without a word. It's subtle at first, easy to ignore, but then it becomes a pattern you can't unsee. Where there was once warmth, now there's distance. You sit next to him and still feel miles apart. His body language speaks louder than anything he says. Closed off, uninterested, disconnected. You start to question yourself. Did I do something wrong? Is he upset? But he says everything's fine, even though everything feels off. Love is felt in presence, in closeness, in small, intimate touches. And when those start fading, the emotional gap grows even wider. It's not just about sex or intimacy. It's about the way he no longer reaches for your hand when you're walking, the way his hugs feel shorter, colder, like they're just routine. You try to brush it off, tell yourself maybe he's tired, maybe he's distracted. But your heart knows better. Physical affection isn't forced when feelings are real, and when someone avoids touching you, they're also avoiding connection. That silence, that space between you two, starts to feel heavier than any words could ever explain. 5. He doesn't ask how your day was. He doesn't ask how your day was. You come home with stories, moments, thoughts you want to share. But he doesn't ask. No, how was work? No, are you okay? Just silence, or a shift in conversation that makes it clear your day doesn't interest him anymore. It's such a small question, but when someone cares, it means everything. And when they stop asking, it speaks louder than any argument ever could. You find yourself wanting to talk, wanting to connect, hoping he'll show the smallest bit of curiosity about your life. But it never comes. You start telling yourself maybe he forgot, maybe he's distracted. But deep down, you know, because when someone genuinely loves you, they want to know what made you smile, what stressed you out, what little thing reminded you of them during your day. Instead, you sit there with words you don't say, stories you keep to yourself, feelings you bottle up. You begin to feel invisible, like your life outside of him doesn't even exist in his world. The bond starts to weaken, not because of big fights or harsh words, but because of the quiet neglect. And in that silence, you start to miss the version of him who used to listen, who used to ask, who made you feel like your thoughts mattered. Now, it feels like you're talking to a wall, and that kind of loneliness, the kind you feel beside someone, is the loneliest of all. 6. He stops noticing the little things. He stops noticing the little things. The new way you did your hair, the scent you wore just because he used to love it, the way your voice changes when you're trying to hide that you're upset. All of it goes unnoticed now. You used to feel seen, like every small detail about you mattered to him. But now it's like you're fading into the background of his life, no longer special, no longer appreciated. It's not about grand gestures. It's about the way he once complimented your smile without you asking, how he remembered the smallest things you said, how he used to notice when you were tired just by looking at your eyes. That attentiveness, that gentle awareness, slowly disappears. You start to feel like you're doing everything for nothing, like your efforts, your changes, your emotions are invisible to him now. You keep waiting for him to say something, to notice that you dressed up, to ask if you're okay, to tell you that you look beautiful like he used to. But the words never come. The silence feels colder every time, and you realize it's not just about attention. It's about presence, about care, about being truly seen. And when someone stops noticing the little things, it usually means they've stopped looking closely, not because they can't, but because they no longer feel the need to. And that realization stings more than words ever could. 7. He flirts with others openly. He flirts with others openly. At first, you try to ignore it. The way he smiles a little too much, the way his tone changes, the playful comments that cross the line. You convince yourself it's harmless, that you're overthinking, but deep down you feel the shift. What used to be reserved only for you, that charm, that attention, that softness, is now being handed out to strangers without a second thought. It's not just a joke or a casual interaction, it's intentional. You see how his eyes linger, how his compliments come a little too easily, how he lights up in ways he doesn't anymore when he's around you. And the worst part, he doesn't hide it. He doesn't feel guilty. He acts like you're the problem for noticing, like your discomfort is overreacting, like your pain is unnecessary. But you know what you see. You know how it feels when someone's loyalty begins to fade, not in big ways, but in small, sharp betrayals that cut deep. Flirting may seem small, but it speaks volumes. It tells you where his attention is, where his excitement lives, where he chooses to place his energy. And when that energy is going to everyone but you, it's not just disrespectful, it's heartbreaking. Because love isn't just about what someone says to you, it's about how they treat you when you're watching and when you're not. 8. He doesn't make future plans with you. He doesn't make future plans with you. Conversations that once used to be filled with, "We should go there, next month we'll," or "Imagine our trip together," have now turned into vague responses and changed subjects. The future used to feel exciting, something you both looked forward to, dreamed about, and planned together. Now it feels like a place he avoids whenever you bring it up. You try to talk about small things: a movie next weekend, a dinner with friends, even a holiday months away. But his answers are always uncertain. "We'll see. I'm not sure yet. Let's talk about it later." Later never comes. You start realizing that you're the only one imagining what's next, the only one picturing a life together, while he's stuck in the now, or already looking beyond you. It's a quiet kind of heartbreak, because people who see a future with you talk about it. They include you in their plans. They think about how you fit into their world long term. When someone stops doing that, they're not just unsure, they're already pulling away. And even though he may still be physically present, emotionally, he's not building anything with you anymore. The silence about the future says everything. Because love doesn't just live in the present. It stretches forward into hopes and tomorrows. And when he stops placing you in his tomorrows, it's only a matter of time before you're not even part of his today. 9. He's emotionally distant and cold. He's emotionally distant and cold. He's there, but he's not really there. The warmth in his voice is gone. The softness in his eyes has faded. And the way he used to listen, truly listen, feels like a distant memory. You speak, but it's like your words hit a wall. He nods, he responds, but the connection isn't there anymore. It feels forced, like he's just going through the motions, like he's present out of habit, not love. You try to reach him, emotionally, gently, patiently. But it's like there's a barrier you can't cross. You bring up how you feel, and he either brushes it off, gets irritated, or shuts down completely. It's like the version of him that used to comfort you, that used to care so deeply, has vanished. He no longer shares what's on his mind. He doesn't open up about his day, his thoughts, his feelings. And when you do, it's met with indifference or cold replies that leave you feeling small. That emotional coldness hurts more than any fight. It makes you feel alone, even when he's right beside you. The silence between you becomes heavier, and you start questioning everything. Is he tired, or is he just done? You miss the way he used to make you feel safe, wanted, understood. Now, you feel like a stranger in his life. And the scariest part is, he doesn't even seem to notice you slipping away. Or maybe he just doesn't care anymore. 10. He gets annoyed over small things. He gets annoyed over small things. The tiniest things you say or do suddenly feel like triggers. A simple question turns into an argument. A light-hearted joke is met with irritation. You notice how his tone changes, sharper, colder, like he's constantly on edge when he's around you. Things that never used to bother him now seem to push him away. You start walking on eggshells, second-guessing your words, trying not to set him off, even though you're not doing anything wrong. You feel the tension growing, even in moments that should be peaceful. Instead of feeling safe and relaxed around him, you feel anxious, like you're always one breath away from upsetting him. And what hurts the most is knowing this isn't how it used to be. There was a time when he was patient with you, gentle even in disagreements. Now, his tolerance has faded, replaced by distance and defensiveness. You start to wonder if it's really about you, or if he's projecting something deeper, maybe frustration, maybe detachment, maybe the fact that he's already emotionally out the door. Either way, it breaks you a little each time he snaps at you like you're a burden. Because when someone truly loves you, they handle your imperfections with grace. But when the love fades, even your presence starts to feel like a problem to them. And that shift, from being cherished to being a source of annoyance, is one of the clearest signs that something real is slipping away. 11. He forgets important dates or moments. He forgets important dates or moments. The things that once mattered, your birthday, the day you first met, the little milestones that made your relationship special, now seem to slip his mind like they were never important at all. No message, no call, no small gesture to show he remembered. And even if he does remember, it feels like an afterthought, rushed, half-hearted, like he's just checking a box. You used to be celebrated. He used to make you feel like those moments were just as meaningful to him as they were to you. But now, you're the one holding on to the memories, while he forgets them without hesitation. It stings when you realize you remembered something important to him. His big meeting, his family event, the little things he once told you about. But he doesn't give the same energy back. You tell yourself maybe he's just stressed, maybe life's gotten busy. But when people care, they remember. Not because they have to, but because they want to. They make an effort, even in the chaos. When that effort disappears, it's hard not to feel like you don't matter as much anymore. You start to question if he's even paying attention, if he's present in the relationship at all, or just physically there while his heart is somewhere else. And when the dates and moments stop meaning something to him, it's hard not to wonder if you still do. 12. He makes you feel like a burden. He makes you feel like a burden. Every time you express a need, a feeling, or even just try to connect, it feels like too much for him. His size, his tone, the way he looks at you, it all makes you feel like you're asking for something unreasonable, even when you're not. You start holding back your emotions, keeping your struggles to yourself, because somewhere along the way, he made you feel like your feelings are inconvenient. Love is supposed to be a safe space, a place where you can fall apart without fear. But now, whenever you try to open up, you're met with coldness, distance, or irritation. He makes you feel like your presence is heavy, like your voice is too loud, your love too demanding. And the worst part, you start to believe it. You begin to shrink yourself, talk less, ask for less, just to keep the peace. You silence your own needs, so he won't pull away even more. But love isn't supposed to feel like a weight. You shouldn't feel guilty for simply existing in someone's life. You shouldn't have to question whether your need for affection, time, or understanding is too much. When someone truly cares, you never feel like you're in the way. And when someone stops making you feel wanted and starts making you feel like a burden, that's when you know something real is breaking. Because the moment love feels like a favor, it's no longer love at all.